Carbs have become the politics of fitness. One side you have the keto zealots, claiming that a single piece of fruit is metabolic suicide, and on the other end of the scale, you have performance coaches chugging glucose like it is the nectar of the gods. And if you're someone in the middle trying to just figure out the best possible way to improve at your physical activities, but also maintaining longevity in regards to your health, you're sort of stuck in the middle, wondering who's actually telling the truth. Taking a definitive side in this carb war is a low-level strategy, because your body is actually pretty incredible. Whilst technically it doesn't need carbohydrates to function, because your liver can pull sources from fats and proteins to produce glucose for your brain to function, sometimes your body can also use carbohydrates and does need carbohydrates for hard, intense sessions. While yes, not having carbohydrates can be an effective way to fix messy blood work and fix things like type 2 diabetes, acutely at least, and this is why low-carb diets are a good, viable strategy in a clinical setting, the reality is that your body is pretty cool, and it has a switch, and it can toggle itself up or down, or in this case using more fats or more carbs, depending on your lifestyle. It can sort of switch over from a chill out mode, from you just playing with your kids or just reading, to this full send mode if you're under the squat rack or if you are on the mats. The important thing here to note is that as the activity level increases both in intensity and duration, the need for carbohydrates increase, and as those things decreases, your body will be able to utilize fat as a fuel source a little bit more. We can actually look to tailor your macro distribution or your food plan, if you will, based on your lifestyle. A popular strategy to do this, to leverage both sides of the spectrum, both for metabolic health and performance, is something called a cyclic ketogenic style diet or a carb cycling style diet, where effectively on days where you are potentially training really hard, maybe 2 sessions in the morning or in the evening or super long session, you might want to have more carbohydrates instead of fats for that day. And conversely, on days where you might just be in the office sitting down doing some work, or maybe it's just a weekend and you're doom scrolling for 12 hours on straight and not taking anything more than 2,000 steps, maybe having more fats and less carbohydrates is the way to go, because again, you don't need carbohydrates for that hard-hitting session. Don't make the mistake most people make. Eating like an athlete, copious amounts of carbohydrates, but you don't actually do any physical activity, or training like an athlete, extremely high output, but basically running a ketogenic style diet and always wondering why your performance and recovery suffers.